You cut me open and I keep bleeding, I keep bleeding all love. I keep bleeding, I keep bleeding all love. I keep bleeding, I keep bleeding all love. You cut me open and it's staining all of me. Then it's fine too hard to breathe. I'll be wearing these scars for everyone to see. I can't get that high. I don't care what they say, but I'm in love with you. Try to pull me away. Oh.
Your mother.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the must-see
Oh my goodness.
WWE
podcast in the world. You know who it is. It's your boys. The Fight Pit Podcast, baby. We're back with another episode. We're going to be doing a retro review of the past pay-per-view. What pay-per-view are we doing today?
Baby, you stink. WrestleMania 10 in the works from 2009. The first match, Money in the Bank, 2009. We had CM Punk versus Mark Henry versus Kofi Kingston versus MVP versus Finlay versus Shelton Benjamin versus Kane versus Christian. That's quite a lineup. The top mid-carders of the day, of the year, of the
decade, essentially.
Of the place of WrestleMania 10. I mean, not 10. This is WrestleMania 25. It's podcast episode 10.
I was wondering if you were going to fix
podcast.
that.
So anyway, WrestleMania 25 started off with the Money in the Bank. It started off strong. I'm going to be honest. This was one of the staples of the entire event.
I think
this was the second one. I think they had the first one.
Yeah, it was the year before. Actually, yeah, you're right. Because the first one was won by CM Punk.
No, the first one was won by Edge, but I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. So it would be the third one, actually.
I'm not sure.
Because CM Punk, this is where CM Punk won back to
But either way, this was one of the years that they did the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. And, they stopped doing it after a while, and they started having their own pay-per-view for it. But I did like how it was at WrestleMania. It started the show.
I kind of miss how they do it at WrestleMania because they made it more of a spectacle.
I mean, it gave a lot of people who wouldn't be on the show opportunity to be on the show.
Right.
I mean, today I could see, even if Cedric Alexander, who's not necessarily a top star, he can still be on the WrestleMania show without being in one of these stupid tag team matches or whatever.
Right. It gives them a bigger spot, too.
Yeah.
Gives them a chance to show themselves a little better.
I did notice Mark Henry was with Tony Atlas, and I thought that was the perfect matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just seeing that, I never seen it before, but just seeing it there, in retrospect, watching it, I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
There was a little spot where Kane and Mark Henry, they were on the world's strongest ladder, because both of them were on the ladder, and Jim Ross said something about that. I thought that was pretty funny. That had to be a strong ladder for Mark Henry.
It was big. If you had Big Show on that ladder, then it would definitely be the world's strongest ladder. But still, Kane and Mark Henry are two of the biggest dudes. So, yeah, it definitely had to be a very strong ladder in order to hold them both. And break right then and there.
Dude, there was a lot of talent in this. We had Kingston and Punk. They did a double suicide dive, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. And then, obviously, this was one of the biggest parts of WrestleMania. When Shelton Benjamin jumped from the top of that ladder.
It looked like art in motion.
It looked like he landed on his head, honestly, on the concrete. All those guys were down there to catch him, but he's still, that's 220 pounds coming through the air.
He is one of the most underrated guys in WWE history. Like, his amount of talent and athleticism is unmatched.
He could have been a good champion. Maybe not world champion, but I feel like a mid-card championship reign would have went good for him. And it did a couple of times, but not like...
Not big time to
not
what
like
we
Miz.
have today. Yeah.
Like, Miz is Intercontinental Champion.
Right. And it's not like Gunther level like he is right now. Having, like a record-setting reign. But, like, I think a couple of his reigns definitely were, like, very important, especially for him.
I think Shelton Benjamin's always been one of those guys that there's so much talent on the roster that you kind of just can't fit it all in. And that was, I mean, think about it. You had, maybe not at this time with Rob Van Dam, but in the mid-2000s, you had Van Dam, Eddie Guerrero, Jeff Hardy, you know.
Very stacked mid-card. Very stacked.
I mean, those are just people who, they're maybe not as talented as Benjamin, but they're pretty close.
Right.
And, I mean, I think Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam, they gave something that maybe Benjamin didn't, but I still think he could have went so much further, and it's kind of upsetting that he didn't.
Kind of how it is today. Well, I guess it's the opposite.
He's always felt like, since he came back, a shell of his former self.
Yeah.
But that's just because he's older. He can't really do those athletic moves. He is able to, but, you know, prime Shelton Benjamin versus 40-year-old Benjamin.
It's going to be real difficult for him to do those a lot more often than he did, because with prime Shelton Benjamin, that was a common occurrence for him to do stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had this unreal
that match
athleticism.
with Shawn Micheals.
Like, he has unreal athleticism. Nothing like you've ever seen.
I mean, his selling is crazy.
Yeah.
Everything about him, he's just so skilled. Plus, he has the amateur background, so...
Yeah, for sure.
I think him in a tag team would have went well if him and Charlie Haas could have gone further than just being Kurt Angle's people behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, that trio alone is crazy. Like, to have somebody like Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin, and Kurt Angle all together, three of some of the best technical wrestlers at that time.
Yeah.
Less of Charlie Haas, but more Kurt Angle and Shelton Benjamin were two of the more technical wrestlers at that time, but were very... Well, Shelton Benjamin was more underrated at the time.
We had this spot in the match where basically everybody was flying off the top rope, and then Mark Henry was about to get on the top rope, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Big man,
that's
going
crazy.
for a big move.
Oh yeah, big man. And then we had a small man going for a big move. Hornswoggle came in the match, you know, obviously accompanying Finley. He did a frog splash, and, you know, the crowd popped. I don't really like
Tadpole
Hornswoggle.
Splash. It's called Tadpole
Splash. It's not that I don't like him. It's just I don't really get excited from him. I don't get a pop from Hornswoggle,
no.
but still, he's...
The pop is usually just because he's such a good comedy character. Like,
oh yeah,
I've always loved him as a comedy character, but like obviously in ring, he is a little bit of holding back because obviously his size makes it difficult to, like, you know, do certain things and be able to do certain moves.
Well, he's very limited just because, just like the Great Khali or Big Show are limited.
Right.
They are big men. That you can't change that.
Right. You can't do anything about that.
They're not going to be the guys that are being worked over the entire match. They're the ones working over, and then they're either going to get the comeback on them or they're going to demolish.
Right.
And Hornswoggle, he's just so... I mean, he's kind of limited. But either way, we already knew that. He is mainly just a comedy character. Yeah. But still, I've just never really enjoyed him, I guess.
I mean, he's alright.
Anyway, we have... Well, first of all, I was talking about Benjamin. Kofi Kingston. This was the time where he was basically in his prime.
Yeah.
He was... Maybe his prime was New Day, but, athletically...
Yeah, this was definitely his prime.
He was definitely Benjamin level when it came to being athletic.
Right, for sure.
And this was 2009, so you know he was moving crazy. He jumped through the ladder and slinged himself into a drop kick. Then there was an awesome catch powerbomb by MVP to Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
And then Christian hits the kill switch off of the ladder bridge. And then I remember Benjamin, he botched the sunset flip powerbomb, and I heard people in the crowd saying, you fucked up or whatever. I thought it was they're doing crazy moves. It was just another spot, but it didn't go right, and obviously we've seen that with a lot of ladder matches.
Yeah.
But still, Benjamin fucked up. What an idiot. I hate him.
Stupid.
For real. He sucks. I don't know. I understand why he didn't get it. It was based off of that. He botched that? Yeah, fuck him. He doesn't need to be world champion or intercontinental. Fuck Benjamin. Everything I said earlier. Anyway, Benjamin threw MVP out of the ring. Benjamin flies off the ladder, and then Christian, he catches himself, and there was a huge pop for Christian. And it looked like... this was before he won the world championship, so he was gonna... This was his...
Big break.
Yeah, his uprising, basically.
Yeah.
He had all the tag team stuff. He had his little stuff. his good stuff, like with the Un-Americans and everything. But this was his big thing. This was also after the TNA and the ECW stuff. So it was really good. Actually, I think this may have been before his ECW championship reign.
Let me think.
Either way.
I think it might have been. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Either way, this was... I know the crowd was wanting him because they were going crazy for Christian. Everybody got in the ring. You have Kofi and Benjamin getting cheered, but Christian was getting he was getting all the cheers. Punk and Kane, they came in when Christian was on the top of the ladder. They were teasing him getting it, and then a choke slam came from Kane to Christian, and then CM Punk and Kane were up there. Punk kicked him off and won for the second time in a row.
Did constant roundhouses. I thought Kane was going to do more. The dude just kept kicking him in the head, and soon just one big kick knocked him down. I was like, well, the whole match, Kane was shown as a big man until that moment.
Oh, yeah.
Just 4 kicks is all it took. I was like, that's really how you're going to set him up? Just have him go down off of 4 kicks? I mean, I understand it's from CM Punk, but, like...
CM Punk? That guy sucks. Next we had the Kid Rock performance, which I thought that was pretty cool.
Sorry, I'm not a fan of Kid Rock. The performance was alright. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan.
When it comes to certain people, when they perform, they can't get the crowd into it because it's a wrestling crowd. They're not there for rock and roll or whatever. Chris Jericho's done it. He's done it well. But I like Lil Uzi Vert. He did his thing at WrestleMania 39.
I think so.
Wait.
Yeah, it was WrestleMania 39 because it was...
Yeah, and it didn't go over well because the crowd didn't want it. But with Kid Rock, it was a good performance.
And one thing I've noticed is a lot of times the crowds don't want it unless, A, they're huge in the mainstream right now. Not necessarily, though, but...
Lil Uzi Vert, he is huge in the mainstream, but I guess...
I don't know. It's a little weird. I know a lot of the time the main thing they like is when they have live performances of entrances.
Yeah.
Like when Triple H, when Motorhead did Triple H's entrance. I forget what WrestleMania that was. But when they've done his entrance, a lot of people love that. Or when the band that does DX's entrance, when they've done it, it gets the crowd involved. But other than that, I haven't really, at least in recent memory, have seen anybody get seriously involved with any music that's done outside of live entrances.
Yeah.
So,
I thought it was okay.
It was okay.
The Divas came out during the performance, and that was kind of the segue to Miss WrestleMania 25.
I think it was a good segue. Like,
it was
an interesting segue. It was nothing they really...
You had Kid Rock flirting with the Divas while they went down. Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and it was kind of a good segue. Like, kind of half of the performance of the Miss WrestleMania 25 Battle Royal, because nobody really cares.
No.
You have that rock concert, they come out, then you have this, and, they were just... It's not that I wouldn't have cared about it, they just didn't make it a big deal. Obviously, It was the Divas. I'm pretty sure this was the only women's match on here, wasn't it?
Let me think. I think so.
And either way, the match was won by Santino Marella.
Not Santino, it's Santino!
Sorry. Santino Marella was my favorite women's wrestler, personally.
I can't remember if he said it was his...
sister.
If it was sister or cousin.
Yeah, sister. Well, yeah, Santino Marella won, so that was awesome. And Beth Phoenix was outside of the ring being like, "What the fuck? He's a man!"
It's a man! You can't do that.
Then we had Chris Jericho taking on 3 of the biggest WrestleMania legends. And, I mean, just... Chris Jericho in a handicap match, Ricky Steamboat, Jimmy Snuka, Roddy Piper, with Ric Flair on the outside. And this was like...
It was interesting.
This was right after Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was inducted in the Hall of Fame the night before.
Yeah.
So, and Ric Flair was the one inducting him, and that entire Hall of Fame ceremony, that induction with Ricky Steamboat, was the build-up to this match. And it was okay. It was good. It was just like... I don't know. These kind of matches are weird.
Honestly, the MVP of the match was Ricky Steamboat. Like,
he did very well.
The dude kind of showed out in this match. The dude being probably like close to 60 at that point.
Yeah.
was doing moves you would not expect. Well, of course you got Ric Flair, but he doesn't really do much. But
Right.
It's a 60-year-old doing moves that you see in modern time. Like being able to do that
him and
kind of
Chris
stuff.
Jericho had a one-on-one match, basically.
Yeah,
At the end of it, when everybody
Ricky
else
the
was
Dragon
eliminated.
Steamboat kept up with them. And it's just like,
It was
crazy
really
to
good.
see that these days. Like the only person I could see in modern day that has been able to do that is Sting.
Yeah.
But he's been doing it for so long.
I think my thing about this is, I think AEW does something a lot better than WWE, and it's using the wrestlers, the veterans, in a better way.
Right.
Instead of having
I agree.
Goldberg have the World Championship match, they'll have like Sting and Darby Allin, who are kind of an established
Kind of
tag
help
team.
put people over instead of.
But even if
constantly-
Sting wins, he's
Right,
helping
right.
put Darby Allin over, plus everything like that. And
helping
I'm not,
everybody to get better.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, yeah, we're making him world champion just because he's a legend.
Yeah.
Like, it's less of that and more of, we want to help our younger stars to improve.
Well, that's one thing that I see, like, with AEW, I don't think they would have a 3-on-1 handicap match. And I'm not just
no.
talking about AEW. I think a competent match,
Wrestling,
at least, for WrestleMania isn't something like this.
yeah, no.
I feel like this is, like, something you do on a B-level show. Maybe SummerSlam.
Right.
I mean, but your
Just a
top
little
show...
bathroom break, like,
Yeah, this was a bathroom break match, essentially.
I would say, yeah, for a majority of the way through until it got to Chris Jericho and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, because when it got down to them two, it was actually really good.
Yeah, it was...
That was
yeah.
my favorite part of the match.
But, yeah, other than that, Chris Jericho, he won with... It was an awesome code breaker. Like, I can't remember all of the match between Steamboat and Jericho, but I think it was, like, a
Very
huge
technical.
spot. So you think Steamboat's about to win, code breaker, end.
Yeah.
And I love that because, you know, they're building it up, he might get the win, and then all of a sudden, you just kind of know, oh, it's over.
Right.
And that was kind of this. And then there was a famous guy, I can't remember his name,
For what?
Ricky Rourke.
Oh, Ricky Rourke.
Yeah, that was another thing with not Chris Jericho just having the rivalry with the Legends. He had that little rivalry with Ricky Rourke.
From the movie The Wrestler at the time.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know anything about that. I don't even care.
At the time, like, I remember, like, hearing about it, but I didn't know much about it. I knew that they had done a feud with them in the past. I wasn't really interested in that part, because I was like, I don't care for Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, so I didn't care for that. Was kind of the same thing as like having a rock concert at a wrestling show. I don't really care about this dude at a wrestling show. I want to watch the wrestlers. At least that's me being a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And not like a pop culture fan.
Right.
But speaking of, this was good wrestling. Jeff versus Matt Hardy.
Oh my goodness.
And
was this a match?
I feel like most of this stuff, you had the Money in the Bank. It was a good thing to give people adrenaline for the show.
Right.
It's like, oh my god, this is crazy. I can't wait for the rest of the show. Then you have the Kid Rock performance, which was all right. You had the Divas Battle Royal, kind of just bathroom break time. Chris Jericho versus Steamboat, Snuka, and Piper, bathroom break time. Then you had Hardys. This is like
feud. Oh my goodness.
two wrestlers that know what they're doing. They've been through the ropes of everything at this point. They've been wrestling since 16, really wrestling since like 12 or something on the trampolines and things.
Right.
And they've been putting their bodies through so much. They know so much about psychology and everything when it comes to wrestling. And giving them this one-on-one brother versus brother match at WrestleMania, mixed with their skills at being wrestlers, it was such a good... There's so many factors that made this match just so good. Plus the fact that it's Extreme Rules, and if it wasn't Extreme Rules, that would kind of suck.
That's their match. Like
This
that's what
was
they
their-
are, especially.
This was their first match in this little rivalry they had as well,
Right,
because
right.
they had other matches, and
Yeah, but it wasn't.
this was like the beginning of their matches.
Yeah.
Because Matt Hardy won this one, but Jeff Hardy ended up winning the entire rivalry.
Yeah, because it ended up culminating into an I Quit match. That Jeff ended up winning.
So if you are going to watch WrestleMania 25, just off of us talking about this, if you don't want to watch the entire show, this match
Is definitely
and
something.
Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels are the matches that you just have to go watch. Michaels versus Undertaker was so good, but okay, Jeff versus Matt. I just want to pay attention to this first. Basically, if you haven't watched it, I mean, you just think about it. The two-brother rivalry, and this Extreme Rules match started off, and it was really good. They started off, had a little brawl, then they went to the outside, got a poster, and pretty sure Jeff put the poster through Matt's head.
I'm not sure about that. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure
it's been
Jeff
a bit
did that.
since I actually watched it.
Yeah, I get you.
But
either way, there was an awesome spot with the Whisper in the Wind, and he went to do it, and Matt Hardy, this was another thing with that psychology. I'm your brother. I know what you're going to do. Whisper in the Wind, chair shot to the back immediately.
It was painful, too. I remember that.
And then there was another thing. Matt Hardy, like, you know how Bret Hart would spread your legs between the ring post?
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, he had one of Jeff's legs and one of his arms and was just pulling on it. And that looked so... It looked so aggressive. Just
thinking about it.
Yeah, it looked like it hurt. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, then there was a trash can that was put on Matt Hardy's head, and then Jeff Hardy just delivered a lot of punishment on him with that. And then this was really cool. It was a little bit later in the match. Jeff Hardy basically set up two tables and then put Matt Hardy on the one table that was on the floor. He had the table stacked on top of him. That kind of surprised me,
because I initially was thinking that he was just going to do both of them on top, but if you think about it, that inflicts more punishment on Matt.
Yeah, he jumped through the one table that was stacked and had nobody on it, went through it, and then went through Matt Hardy through another table. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that spot.
Yeah, and then there were constant callbacks to the Triple Threat TLC matches. Just constant callbacks, just...
Always.
Yeah, that's
at that time, that was a huge thing.
That's a Hardy Boys staple to do. And plus, I mean, there's not... If you really think about it, there's not a whole lot you can do with a ladder.
Right.
Other than put somebody through it and hit somebody with it.
Right. There's not much.
But yeah, there was a lot of callbacks to it, and I think they were intentional. I don't think they were just a figment of my imagination.
Oh, no. WWE, that's one of their signature things. They always love doing callbacks to old rivalries. They still do that today.
So the ending of this match, Jeff Hardy jumped from the top of one ladder. He jumped over a taller ladder and went for the leg drop, and Matt Hardy got out of the way. And when I was watching it, I was just like, okay, come on, Jeff, get up. And then Matt Hardy puts a chair around Jeff's neck and then does the twist of fate, and it looks legitimately like, oh my goodness.
Broke his neck.
Yeah, and then Jeff Hardy's just laid out, and then you're like, come on, Jeff, get up. But he never gets up.
Because everybody's huge, like, Jeff fans at this point. Everybody's cheering for Jeff, obviously, because he's the big face.
that crowd was kind of, like, not silent, but it was like they were just so
sympathetic. They were very sympathetic about it. They're like, you okay? Jeff. Get up, Jeff.
Yeah, it was a great match. But this was the start of their rivalry, so we're going to have to go back and watch their rivalry.
Yeah, because that... Honestly, it's in my opinion, one of the most underrated, but one of the best feuds.
Oh, yeah.
Because of, I mean, it's a blood feud.
I mean, the brother rivalries are always good.
Right.
Mostly, for the most part, except for Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then this next match was, I don't remember how long it was exactly. I think it was 28 seconds. JBL defending the Intercontinental Championship against Rey Mysterio.
Oh, my goodness.
JBL cuts a promo just saying... You know, I'm the best wrestler alive, and I'm going to be champion forever. Rey Mysterio comes out. JBL attacks him before the match. The bell rings, and then Rey Mysterio gets the 619 off. Frog splash, 1, 2, 3. All of a sudden, JBL's no longer champion forever.
Yeah.
And he quits!
The dude literally just grabs the mic, and he's like, I've got something to say.
After about a minute.
Quit!
After a minute, I quit.
I love his face afterwards, because he's like, what did I do? He gives this face of, like, what did I do? And then he just walks off, and is frustrated, I think, with himself and the crowd.
It's like he couldn't believe that the words actually came out of his mouth.
That was my favorite part of the match.
That was his retirement match.
Yeah, it was. That was his last match they ever had. I mean, obviously, other than the Legends segments he would have later on during, like, special episodes. But, yeah, with that part was definitely interesting because it's a twist you don't expect. Like, the twist is always going to throw you off because somebody finishes a match like that, they just kind of walk off somberly, but they expect to see somebody just be like, I quit. It's just like, what? But yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was good to see Ray get an opportunity like that, but it wasn't much of a match other than that. It was just fine.
So now, the match you guys have all been waiting for. It's the reason we're here. It's WrestleMania 25. It's 2009. It's Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker 1 at WrestleMania 25. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
First of all, the preview to this was amazing.
It was amazing.
First of all, the entrances were spectacular.
Spectacular, I say. Spectacular.
It was the perfect battle of power versus speed, light versus dark, cocky versus discipline. Nothing crazy or out of this world move-wise, but the storytelling and the emotion.
Off the charts.
And the drama. It was at its peak. It was at It was at the top of the charts.
Yeah.
Anyway, the start of the match, basically they were going back and forth. You could tell from the get-go, power versus speed, everything like that. Shawn Michaels is going to have to use his quickness, and Undertaker, or Undertaker's just going to overpower him. So, yeah, that was essentially that. There was a moonsault from the top that led to Shawn Michaels hitting the ground, and he hit hard.
Ouch.
Hard.
Ouch.
Hard.
Owie!
And then one of the craziest dives of all time. That dive from The Undertaker
where he almost
to the
broke his
outside
neck.
Where he landed on his freaking head. And the cameraman didn't.
Took the brunt of the force.
Yeah, he
Oh my goodness. Are you okay?
It's one of the craziest and one of the most, infamous.
Bruh. I don't think we'll ever see a cameraman take that kind of spot again.
Yeah, and then they had a count-out spot after that. It was big drama. Big drama.
Big drama.
Then the last ride kick-out was big drama.
Big drama.
Big.
Big drama.
And then there was a tombstone!
Tombstone pile driver.
Shawn Michaels kicked out!
Because the dude...
He kicked out of the tombstone pile driver.
Nobody does that!
He kicked out.
You can't do that!
And the Undertaker, he looked at the camera like, huh? Oh my goodness!
Who are you? Who are you people?
Honestly, it was insane at the time. I know it was insane at the time. Then, just watching it, it's in retrospect, it's still crazy to even think about.
Right.
The magnitude that this match held, and, you can still feel it when you watch it.
Right.
That tombstone kick out, that wasn't just somebody kicking out of the tombstone. That was
Shawn Michaels.
That was somebody kicking out of a move that the Undertaker has put people through the ring with for years in the WrestleMania. This was 16-0, I'm pretty sure. Was this the 16-0 or 17-0?
I think it was 16-0, if I remember right.
Either way, I mean, it was just, he was getting it, and this tombstone, it told more than just, he kicked out.
It was one of the most protected finishers.
It was crazy. And then the facial expression on The Undertaker was just awesome. It was the #1 moment of the show.
Just, huh? Two?
I'm pretty sure Jim Ross, he said something like, you see in The Undertaker's eyes, no emptiness, but focus. Focus for The Undertaker to keep it going. And,
he knows what he needs to do.
There was a tombstone that Undertaker was about to hit on Shawn Michaels, and out of pure luck, or I don't know what it was, Shawn Michaels countered it into a DDT, and it was perfect. It was beautiful. And then Shawn Michaels hit the elbow drop, and man,
Thing of beauty.
Thing of beauty. And then he hit the Sweet Chin music, and the kick out was crazy there. Everybody was mesmerized. Not just did Shawn kick out of the tombstone, but Undertaker kicked out of the Sweet Chin music. They'd thrown their best shots at each other, and I mean, the back and forth after this, the strikes, the crowd was going, they were on the edge of their seats. They were going crazy. Boo! Yay! Boo! Yay!
I mean, at the time, the Sweet Chin music and the tombstone were two of the most protected finishers at the time. Nobody kicked out of the tombstone or the Sweet Chin music. So to see both happen in one match is absolutely crazy to happen within that time.
Yeah, honestly, go watch this match. It's one of the best ever. And at the end, Shawn Michaels, he went for the moonsault. He went for the moonsault, and Undertaker caught him. And caught him with a crazy tombstone pile driver. And at that point, 17-0, baby. Undertaker 17-0.
Slightly fall from Shawn Michaels' fan's face. Just.
It was one of the best matches of all time. And then the next match, I mean, this was for the WWE champ. Or wait, no, this was the World Heavyweight Championship.
World Heavyweight. It was Big Show versus Cena versus Edge.
This was one of the weirdest build-ups on the show for sure. The build-up, you watch the preview and it's not like, oh, this dramatic light versus dark, or oh, these brothers. No, it was Edge's girlfriend, who's kind of unattractive at this point. She's like 50 years old, is cheating on him with Big Show.
She was a 50 at that point.
40.
She's about 50 right now.
Nuh-uh.
Yo-ho!
She's definitely like 60.
Lita. You're talking about Lita, right?
No, I'm talking about Vicky Guerrero.
Oh, I was thinking at the wrong time.
This preview was just a big old love triangle, and it was hilarious, honestly.
It was hilarious, but kind of weird.
Something that was also hilarious was the army of John Cena's, and I completely forgot about it until I watched his entrance, and all these John Cena's came out, and they just stand on the edges of the ramp, and John Cena runs down.
And you got the commentators being like, what is going on?
What is going on? Yeah, Cena obviously at a huge disadvantage. Vicky Guerrero, she's in love with both Big Show and Edge.
That clip that John Cena showed with Big Show,
goodness.
just seeing this huge, massive man just lean down and kiss Vicky Guerrero is so weird.
Yeah.
Because she's probably to his chest. And so he's like, so at the time it was so weird to watch because, I mean, usually don't see people have to do that, so it's a weird love scenario between Vicky and Big Show.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and luckily John Cena wasn't like a love square.
I know, that would have been even weirder.
Yeah, that would have been really weird. The winner gets the World Heavyweight Championship and Vicky Guerrero's vagina.
No.
Well, the beginning of the match, basically, all of them brawled, and then Chavo Guerrero came out. He got AA'd by Cena. The Big Show got stuck in the ropes while Cena and Edge fought. And then Cena and Edge, while they were fighting, Vicky Guerrero was on the apron. She got speared off the apron, and she got sent right into Chavo. And then, Big Show, he got out of the ropes, caused his damage, whatever. There was a big spot on the outside. Edge sent Big Show through the barricade with a spear, I'm pretty sure.
Big Show sent Edge, is that what you said?
No, Edge sent Big Show through this barricade.
I don't quite remember this, like everything of this match. It
This
might have
was,
happened.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. The biggest part of this entire match was that double AA.
The double AA will always be the biggest part of this match. Because you have somebody the size of John Cena picking up a 400-pound man and probably a 250-pound man and a 400-pound man at the same time, only using his legs.
I mean, it was really cool when Edge and Cena they did a double suplex on Big Show because Cena couldn't lift him by himself. Edge came in and good and evil helping to get rid of more evil.
Just about any time there's a double suplex on a big man, it's going to be like... Especially somebody the size of Big Show.
There was a cool spot where Big Show pushed John Cena off the top rope into a spear by Edge. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then it was Edge versus Big Show, and Edge put him in a sleeper hold, and then that's where the double AA hit. That's when John Cena was able to pick both of them up at the same time, well over 600 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, really big AA, and then Cena grabbed Edge up, he speared him onto, he AA'd him onto Big Show, and then pinned on Big Show, and Cena wins, lol.
It's a weird such.
It was a good match. It was a great match.
So much back and forth with the build up.
The build up was kind of like weird. It was kind of unneeded. I don't know.
But it is what it is. It ended up being a pretty good match. So
yeah, and then the main event. It was coming up next, but before that, we had the Hall of Fame ceremony. The biggest ones being Ricky Steamboat and Stone Cold. And Stone Cold, he came down with his on his 4-wheeler and drove around the ring and drank some beer, drink some more beer.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
What?
Drink 1 beer.
What?
2 beers.
What?
3 beers.
What?
4 beers.
What? Your main event, ladies and gentlemen, of WrestleMania 25. The main event of podcast episode 10. We have Triple H taking on Randy Orton.
Absolute trash.
It was not trash. I'll tell you what, the preview.
No. It wasn't. Okay. It wasn't absolute trash, but it could have had a better ending for the blood feud that it was. It needed a better ending.
I will tell you that the preview to this was amazing. I mean, it just showed... This was like the peak of 09 Orton, the Menace Orton, when Orton was like, goodness gracious. I mean...
Randall Keith the Menace.
It was the McMahons and Triple H with the rock music.
Yeah.
They had that when... I mean, basically, the preview was Legacy messing with Triple H, and then they took out Mr. McMahon, they took out Shane McMahon, then Randy Orton DDT'd Stephanie McMahon while Triple H was handcuffed to the rope, and then kissed her. I mean, that's just crazy. And then Triple H came in.
You can't do that.
Destroyed Randy Orton's house, and then Legacy, they were on top in the ring, and then the McMahons and Triple H came out, the rock music. It was crazy. Them boys were big. Apart. Them boys were beating dudes up. It was insane.
Seeing Mr. McMahon get involved is just like...
I will say... One of the main bad things about this match was the DQ rule against Triple H. It was just so stupid.
It didn't make sense. Like I said before, with the whole blood feud, like it was a serious blood feud, like breaking into each other's houses.
It should have been like false count anywhere or something.
It should have been a false count anywhere, no holds barred, something like that. There shouldn't have been any rules. And the fact that they put a DQ rule that if he gets DQ'd or counted
Think
out...
about this. This is the main event World Championship match of WrestleMania. There shouldn't be any more things other than one-on-one.
Right. I understand that.
Big thing.
But it's more than that, though, because of the whole being a blood feud. It needed a better ending. Like, they needed to expand things more and allow them to get their aggression out. And the fact that there's DQ rules where if he gets DQ'd or counted out, he loses the title... That really inhibits the match on what it could be.
I think it took away from the match.
A lot.
But I will say, when Triple H came out, this was like...
His entrance is awesome.
Dude.
I loved his entrance.
It was so nostalgic because that's what I grew up around. That's what I grew up with. I was born in 2004, so I became a wrestling fan when I was 3 or 4 or whatever. So... This was like peak of me like playing SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, seeing that Triple H entrance, all the lights. This was that entrance. This was the entrance brought from SVR 2010. It was awesome. And the match, it actually started slow. You know, that's... Randy Orton's been known to be one of those guys who he works very slow.
Yeah.
He works slow, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing at all. It's more story-based, and obviously Triple H is like that as well. So it started off slow, Hunter beats him up, and then the ref warned Triple H that he'll get DQ'd if he doesn't slow down on his absolute pummeling of Randy Orton. And then there was an RKO out of nowhere at the beginning of the match. And then there was a pedigree at the beginning of the match. Less than 2 minutes into the match, both of these dudes hit their finishers, and
they were both down.
It was a finisher fest.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I liked the story of, okay, I'm going to hit you with my absolute biggest weapon. If it doesn't take you out, we can keep going from there.
Right.
And Triple H, he was going to hit Randy Orton with a monitor, but the referee was like, no, Hunter, you're going to get disqualified. You'll lose the title.
You'll lose the title. You can't do that. I'm like, bro, why do you care?
Yeah, I didn't...
Literally in my mind when that happened, I'm like, bro, why do you care?
So, essentially... Triple H wins, but come on, we already knew that was gonna happen. So I'm actually not with J-Dog right now. I'm editing this post, doing my thing. I just wanted to let you guys know this is the end of the video. Great podcast. We plan to have a lot more of these. And our next one that we're going to be doing a review of Survivor Series 2019, both a favorite, like a staple pay-per-view for both mine and J-Dog's taste. You know, this was right when me and him were in the peak of watching wrestling and actually talking together. That 2018 to 2022 time. 2019 was a great year for NXT, and Survivor Series was a great showcase for that. Probably more than any other because it was implemented in Survivor Series. So it's both one of our favorites. And that's the one that we'll be going after next. If there's anything that you guys want to see, any pay-per-view that you want us to go back and watch, it can be WWE, WCW, ECW, AEW. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Just let us know. I would like to get interactive with you guys. So that is the end of this podcast, episode 10, WrestleMania 25, one of my favorites. I really hope you guys can stay tuned for the next one, and we'll see you guys later. I love you.
Up in it, we tryna get higher. Put it back, I cooking it rack, me eating that pack of meal and stopper, holding it down, pull up in the primary real, that just stop faking the cat. Yeah, killing the trapper, coming back, I'll break new loose, keep up in the track, I'm feeling the beachy, burning, healing, marking the tie, beam, baking, screech. Don't clap in the sea, air track and pee, I'm master love, but feet deep, I'm switching my game, take pass and see, even with my shot, no line to see.